she will rave all the night.
Then rave she must.
Nowadays, it feels like vampires are caricatures of what they once were. Before, they used to be these badass creatures of the night. But now they're either over-the-top clowns or relentless poon-slaying machines. And there's no balance there. And I blame Twilight for this. They messed up the vampire timeline, but what they didn't expect is for a new horny vampire movie to take its spot.
I have seen things in this world that would have made Isaac Newton crawl back into his mother's womb. We have not become so much enlightened as we have been blinded by the gaseous light of science. I have wrestled with the devil as Jacob wrestled the angel Penguin, and I tell you, if we are to tame darkness, we must first face that it exists. We are here encountering the undead plague carrier, Nosferatu.
The first ever vampire movie dates back to the 1922 silent film Nosferatu, a symphony of horror. You might be wondering, where have I heard that name before? Nosferatu. Oh yeah, he's from that SpongeBob episode, The Hash Slinging Slasher.
Nosferatu!
So the story goes, a real estate agent named Thomas sets off to Transylvania to close a deal with Count Orlok. Upon arriving at the castle, he quickly realizes this guy is sus as hell.
That's weird.
While finalizing the deal, Thomas has the big brain idea to show Orlok a picture of his wife, Ellen. Suddenly Orlok's like, let me go hit up that town though. And with that, he brings a wave of goonery and destruction with him. Ellen knows he's coming and devises a plan to stop him, one that will cost her own life. So they remade the film in 2024, and they pretty much just ran it back. And the director, Mr. Eggers, decides to modernize it and add some spicy sauce to it. What I didn't expect was for it to be the horniest vampire movie since Breaking Dawn. It has a lot of sex. And they're all freaks, especially Orlok. Bro is horrendously down bad for Ellen's coochie.
No, he seeks after Ellen!
Unlike the original where Thomas is the MC, here Ellen leads the narrative. So, Ellen has a rough childhood. She grew up being shunned and isolated, and all she ever wanted was a friend, a connection, someone who confided. So she would have endless nights of praying to the gods for someone to save her, anyone. And what ended up answering her call was a demon. And later in her life, she meets Thomas, and he becomes that rock for her. And she doesn't need to be praying to the demons anymore. So once Thomas leaves for Transylvania, Orlok's hold on her tightens, and Ellen's grip on reality begins to slip. So a lot of people online are like, Lily Rose Depp's performance is trash. A lot of the complaints I hear is that it's either too stiff or too forced. And I gotta disagree. I thought her performance was really well done. It was very melancholy, and it fits the gloomy nature of the world. It's messed up, and I think it reflects that she is going to be sad and depressed, a lot of it. I think that makes sense. I also think that she shows off some crazy acting range. Like, she goes from like sobbing innocent girl to just demon possessed crazy. It all reminded me of a Shakespeare play.
But I'd never been so happy as that moment. As I held hands with death.
The story is dripping with sexual themes, and I found it really interesting. There's a layer of relatable social commentary that I think the original lacks. The world of Nosferatu is set in Victorian Germany, a time when society was very push and obsessed with maintaining a facade. Talking about sex was a big no-no, and women were expected to be Virgin Marys. The film makes a point that suppressing these carnal desires leads to personal ruin. Ellen is forced to bottle up her traumatic childhood experiences because they're considered unladylike and disorderly. But ironically, it's the very thing that sets the chaos in motion. So one complaint I hear a lot from my friends is that the story was too predictable. I think that's a fair critique, but personally, I didn't really mind it too much. I was more interested in seeing how the story was going to play out versus what was going to happen. I just had the most fun picking apart every little scene, looking for symbolism and stuff like that, and just being along the ride for Thomas and friends and how they defeat the Count Orlok. It got a little more out there than I would have expected, but I thought it was cool. The ensemble has great chemistry. They just bounce off each other effortlessly. Thomas plays the straight man, Frederick the skeptical tycoon, Ellen the wife haunted by her past. The constant push-pull on their dynamic on how to deal with Orlok creates for some juicy drama moments. Like, it was so much tea. It goes without saying that Bill
Skarsgård
as Orlok is sick. The redesign from bald Jeffree Star to decrepit Waluigi is tastefully done. He looks absolutely vile. His flesh is pale and rotting away. He doesn't even speak much, but when he does, it's menacing. During the second night, Orlok has the coldest moment in the entire movie. Despite all their acting chops, William Dafoe steals every scene he's in. He plays the wacky quack doctor that no one takes seriously up until they have to. His reveal was a surprise to me, and I lit up the moment I saw him. He was amazing in The Lighthouse, and he's amazing here. Despite my description of this fucked up world, the film is surprisingly really funny. Aside from Willem having some banger lines,
She will rave all the night. Then rave she must.
Orlok's henchman, Knock, had some iconic moments too.
He wishes to acquire a home here in our Visburg.
Oh yes. And what was the Count's name?
Orlok. It is a pretty one. His lordship likes the pretty one.
His lordship is here! I'm not even gonna think about you-know-who and the you-know-what doing I don't care.
The film's mood really picks up in the second half, bringing in a much needed burst of energy. Up to that point, it's just miserable. Ellen is being possessed by Orlok. Thomas is getting sucked off by Orlok. It's just a bad time for both of them. There are a lot of graphic scenes that are unsettling. Despite that, I think the gross outs didn't feel forced. The creepy vibes are suffocating, and it feels like there's always something lurking around the corner. Despite that, it was never scary, just creepy. The jump scares and music just didn't do it for me either. It's like the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. When I watched it as a kid, I was terrified, shitting my pants. But now as an adult, I'm more like, ooh, that's pretty cool. I gotta say, this film is gorgeous. Every other scene feels like it was ripped straight out of a painting. One of my favorite scenes is when Thomas first arrives at Orlok's castle. It feels like he's literally being transported into another realm. The use of pans and shadows to disorientate the viewer complements the emotional turbulence of the scene. The cinematographer popped off with this one. I love their use of shadows. It's some of the best I've ever seen. In the original, Orlok is this unnaturally tall figure with inhumane features. One way they highlight his silhouette is by casting these harsh shadows to make his bat ears and claw-like hands pop out. In Mr.
Eggers
version, they manipulate shadows even further to have Orlok literally embody the shadow. One scene in particular shows him reaching out to the city from a window. The camera pans out and a shadow of his hand covers the cityscape, as he is the evil that lives in the shadows. It's cool to see a modern director's take on gothic horror, especially by someone like Mr.
Eggers.
I believe this is a great gateway for viewers not familiar with Nosferatu. It's a return to form for the vampire mythos. If you're interested in gothic horror, I would highly recommend this film. If you're looking for a scary movie, I don't think you'll find that here. Overall, it sticks very closely to the 1922 blueprint and focuses on a stylish presentation. You have to be a little pretentious going in, and I love being pretentious. I'm feeling a strong 8 out of 10 for Nosferatu. Let me know what you guys think of the movie. I know some of you are thinking that I'm gassing it up, but I really do think Nosferatu is that good. Thank you to all my big-hearted patrons, Prince, Stinky Hamster, McConan, Nicholas, Emmanuel, Kevin, and Silverbird. Appreciate all the support.